friend, Senate Majority Leader Dean Skelos, Assemblyman Harvey Weisenberg, and by Fran Adelson, the Vice President of the Long Beach City Council, among others. We also have members of the community and others who are involved in the management of this fine community, and all of the people here have been intimately and passionately involved with efforts to help New Yorkers who were damaged by and harmed by Hurricane Superstorm Sandy. A year ago next week, Sandy slammed into the eastern seaboard with high winds, a storm surge of more than 13 feet. In New York, over 48 people were killed directly or by the storm. More were killed indirectly. Sandy cost the state $42 billion. Thousands of people, many here in Long Beach, were displaced from their homes. In the wake of this disaster, my office undertook several initiatives in cooperation with our colleagues in state and local government. We have released a report today highlighting and reporting, and again, on an interim basis, on the state of our work related to Sandy recovery. And among the things we are happy to be here today to report is that we have obtained almost $300,000 worth of penalties and costs from 43 gas stations that engaged in illegal price gouging after the storm. We have obtained additional funds, and I'll discuss some of it, from other price gougers. We secured more than $5.3 million for workers who were underpaid on Sandy recovery projects, and we intervened to prevent New Yorkers from being denied telephone and other communication services, and prevailed in that effort. We have also worked hard, and we've been reporting periodically on our efforts to ensure that the $600 million plus that was donated by people across the country and around the world to help this region was actually being spent on Sandy recovery efforts. We, through our Charities Bureau, regulate all the nonprofits in New York State, and we have been dogged about making sure that when they raise money and tell the world they're going to spend it on Sandy recovery, they in fact spend it on Sandy recovery. We've been collecting information from nearly 90 nonprofits that we identified, and we issued a preliminary report in July detailing how about $575 million raised for Sandy efforts had resulted in the spending of only about 60% of that money, less than 60% of that money. So as the one-year anniversary of this devastating storm approaches, I'm here with my colleagues to send the message that we are all working as hard as we can, using every lever available to us, that to help the people who are harmed, and that the relief efforts are ongoing. A lot of folks need to use this one-year anniversary to remind themselves that the damage from Sandy is ongoing. It exists. There are thousands of New York families still suffering. You can see in this community the various stages of rebuilding. I am committed to ensuring that my office uses every tool at our disposal to maximize relief for Sandy victims, and so are my colleagues, and we will continue to work together to that end. I'm pleased to announce today that we've reached agreements with 4 major charities that will provide close to $10 million in additional assistance for our neighbors in need. In the case of the American Red Cross, which raised the most money for Sandy relief of any nonprofit in the country, yesterday my office reached an agreement with them. The money is being pushed out faster, and they have actually agreed to an additional $6 million for recovering and rebuilding efforts in New York. We are pleased that they are doing that. That money is coming from the general fund of the Red Cross, and it's in addition to the $308 million that they have raised and are spending for Sandy recovery efforts. We are working with them on an ongoing basis, and the Red Cross will continue to work with us on Sandy relief. We also have announced that yesterday that the New York chapter of the United Methodist Church, Kids in Distress Situations, Inc., and the Breeze Dream Foundation, founded by New Orleans quarterback Drew Brees, have also reached agreements with our office that will ensure that a total of an additional $9.6 million in unspent Sandy recovery funds will be directed towards our neighbors in need over the course of the next 10 months. As a result of these agreements, communities like this one that are still recovering to recover will have access to nearly $10 million in additional funding in the near future. And I have to say that we have had very good results with most of the charities that we have dealt with who were not spending the money in our view fast enough. When we issued our reporting on the spending as of April, the 5 charities with the highest portion of unspent funds had raised about $10 million and only spent a little over $400,000. As of the last reporting period after we started working with them, that is now up to well over $4 million out of the $10 million already spent or committed. And I would also like to mention our work on protecting New Yorkers from unscrupulous business practices. And again, our best allies on this have been people like Senator Skelos, Assemblymember Weisenberg, the local officials from Long Beach who have called these matters to our attention. They are, in addition to performing all of their administrative, legislative, and other duties, their offices have become mini relief centers. They work with us, they work with the attorneys in my office, and we have been able to go after price gougers, and we have zero tolerance for anyone who would use a storm like Sandy, use a disaster, and then try to re-victimize the victims by raising prices in violation of the price gouging law. We've obtained almost $300,000, as I said, in penalties and costs from gas stations. We have also resolved a price gouging case in the last few days against a hotel, which really shows you in a way how bad things can get when you have a storm like Sandy. It brings out the best in people and it brings out the worst in people. We have resolved matters with a hotel that was putting up people who needed someplace to stay because of the hurricane, or even people who came from out of town to help with Sandy relief. And they were charging guests more than $400 per night. 15 guests, they charged more than $500 per night. And the week before that, their rates had been between $155 and $170 per night. So we've reached a resolution with them. One of the victims was a man from Michigan who traveled all the way to New York to help with Sandy recovery. The Delaware-based corporation that operates the hotel has paid $25,000 in penalty and is providing restitution to the customers who were overcharged. Again, we have zero tolerance for price gouging. We continue to pursue other reports of misconduct, and we continue to work with the nonprofits that are supposed to provide relief. And I have to say that the response from the local officials in this part of the state has been extraordinary. The damage was as bad as it was anywhere in the areas affected by Hurricane Sandy. But there are warriors for this community here, and I'm honored to stand with them today. And I'd like to now welcome up the Majority Leader of the Senate, Dean Skelos, who has been providing relief, fielding thousands of phone calls, in addition to all his other duties. And he has fought hard to make sure that the Sandy relief money from Washington came in at the level which was required and that it comes in as quickly as possible. I look forward to working with him to ensure that Washington continues to get every effort to overcome bureaucratic barriers to getting the money to the people who need it. My friend, Majority Leader Dean Skelos.
Thank you very much, Mr. Attorney General. Let me just say this. You've been very generous with your comments, myself and my colleague, Harvey Weisenberg, Assemblyman Weisenberg, but this is really your day. During Sandy and many other times when there have been natural disasters that have affected Long Beach or other parts of Nassau County, Long Island, we've seen that Long Islanders and New Yorkers have a big heart. And what's troublesome, unfortunately, is that there are a few that are heartless. Those that would gouge on their neighbors, sometimes their friends, during these challenging times. So we thank you for going after them, and really it sends a message to them, and it sends a message to others that would think about it, that it's unacceptable. What's also critically important, and we talk about big hearts, are those New Yorkers and people throughout this entire country who have contributed millions upon millions of dollars to charities to help those who are going through very, very difficult and challenging times. That money was donated to help those who are suffering from Sandy. And through the Attorney General's efforts, that's where that money will be directed. Long Beach, where we are today, is a fabulous community. It's a strong community, but it is challenged right now. So that every single effort, Harvey, myself, the Attorney General, is going to make sure that Long Beach not only rebuilds, it comes back even stronger, and that's for the entire Long Island, where many other neighborhoods are also struggling. So, Mr. Attorney General, I thank you for being here. I thank you for your efforts on behalf of the people of the state, and specifically right here today in Long Beach for helping them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Senator Skelos, for fighting so hard for the folks in your district and really for people all over the state of New York. And now a local and statewide legend who dressed up for the occasion, a great friend and a tremendous advocate for the people in this community, and really just an inspiration to many of us, Assemblymember Harvey Weisenberg.
I made this remark up in Albany one day because I was wearing a polar bear shirt up there, and there were almost 800 people in a room. Red polar bear shirt. The governor said to me, "What is that?" And I said, "Thank you, Governor, for acknowledging our polar bear shirt." Long Beach, Super Bowl Sunday. We go in the ocean in February to raise money for Make-A-Wish. Beautiful red shirt, Long Beach, Polar Bear Club. And everybody in there said, "Wow." And I said, "You want a man or a suit?" That's a statement. My statement really is, we in Long Beach are a very diverse population. We're very resilient here. In the tragedy that occurred, in the pain and suffering, there were people walking around with smiles on their faces. Why? Because their friends and neighbors and everybody was helping each other. And the diversity of our population is our strength. When you really think about the population of Long Beach, 1/3 senior citizens. As I said, a diverse population, a half a mile wide, 3 miles long. We had water coming from that south side by the ocean, almost 16 feet high, 5 to 7 feet tidal surge. Everybody was impacted, everybody. And yet, we were damaged, but we weren't broken. Today, we're moving forward. I have a tear in my heart. I'm looking and I'm saying, I know everybody in every house here. Look at what's happening here. Look at the change. This city is going to be a different city, but the strength of our people will be here. Eric Schneiderman, our guy, our law enforcement, being a former cop, I admire and respect him for what he's doing, because it's so important for us to get the resources to help those who need this help. There are people that are still homeless. We have people in my office, it's a crisis center, trying to help people to get started or established and moving on with their life. Without that money and the resources that were taken illegally, if you will, this is going to be a great relief. All we got to do is get through the bureaucratic system and get the funding to the people who need it the most. And I'm here basically to say thank you. Working together with Dean and with our Attorney General, I know that my resources will be coming to our people. And I'm here thanking all of you because I want you to understand there isn't a better city in this country that's more of a model of resilience, where people love each other and care for each other, and government working together has success. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Eric, for everything you're doing.
Thank you, Harvey. Thank you very much. And now someone who has been a great partner to us and reflects the partnership of the government of Long Beach and particularly of the Long Beach City Council, the Vice President of the City Council, Fran Adelson.
Thank you. Thank you, Attorney General. Thank you for coming to our hometown to give your announcement. And thank you so much for trying to protect us and actually protecting us and working so hard to get us the money that so many of our constituents and so many of our residents really deserve and really need. You can look around, you can see all the work that's being done here all over the city. And myself and the rest of the city and the City Council, along with Harvey Weisenberg and Dean Skelos and the rest of the county and Eric Schneiderman and every other politician that cares about our city, has been working so hard to get the money that's due the people in Long Beach, the money that they deserve. People have been fighting with their insurance companies. They've been fighting with FEMA. They've been fighting with so many organizations that it's refreshing. And so we are so grateful that the money is coming in now from the charities, the money that people donate specifically for specific causes. You know, I myself in the past have donated when there was Hurricane Katrina. I wanted my money to go to the people in Hurricane Katrina. The people who have been donated to, Sandy victims want the money to go to the Sandy victims. They don't want the money to be held off to some other, horrible thing that might happen. That's where the money deserves. Our people really need it. And once again, I thank you, Attorney General. for all your hard work in helping us to get the money released. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fran.